So, what's the difference between getting psychic information and reading energy or having a gut intuition?
But first, your daily dose of Daisy. Oh, hi.
She's she's the most. Someone asked me in a comment the other day, and I can't find the comment to reply to it, so let's do a whole video on it alone. There's actually a huge difference between instinct, intuition, gut knowing, and receiving psychic information. The gut knowing stuff is sort of vague in terms of you don't know why you know, but you just know. You just have a sense. It's instinct. It just happens. You feel it, it's locked in. You can't explain it, but you know. Receiving psychic information, on the other hand, well, it does have that similar quality of you do know, and it is instant. It often comes with the psychic clairs. You've heard of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all the different clairs. So you will be getting information dropped in, whereas the gut knowing is just like the thing. I'm locked at the end result. Now, reading energy, on the other hand, is kind of a mix of both because it, at least for me, it begins as that intuition. You know, the vibes are off. I don't trust that person. You just know. But with reading the energy, I can then go into the clairs to get more information. And that's kind of the key, is getting more. So the gut instinct is sort of the flash, the knowing, and it might have a few details, but reading energy is, oh, that don't feel right, and I can get into it, and then I can get all the information I need. So this, by the way, is why there is a huge difference between reading energies that are already in place and seeing where they would lead versus future casting, precognition, predicting the future. When you are reading the energies on something, they're already there. They're already present. It really is as easy as saying, the sky is blue. It's raining today. It's there. However, what's there is not obvious to everybody else. So when you know a thing and people think you're crazy, it's because you're reading energy and they're not. The people you're reading the energy of might not even be aware that that is the energy they're projecting. It might be in their subconscious. It might be something in shadow that they are not even aware that they have. It might be their intentions that they actively don't want you to know. So this is why reading energy is a very vital skill. Now, with reading present energies, you can then get a sense of what the future looks like. And this works really well if you've got excellent pattern recognition skills. So being neurodivergent, I mean, personally, I think neurodivergents are already psychic because we got way more senses going on than most neurotypicals. But if you have that overlap with pattern recognition skills and reading energy, you can get a snapshot of the present and know exactly what people are going to do. And it works every time. This is why in college people didn't like me to meet their new boyfriends. Because I would tell them, and I was always right, and they didn't like it. Okay, so future events that haven't happened yet, unless there is already energy that's feeding into it, and I'm reading the energy that feeds into it, you can't read that the same way. Future events that haven't happened yet are not destined. They're not certain. They're not set. The timing is different. The details are different. That's what's tricky about future predictions. So when spirit is given, at least for me, every psychic is different, but when I'm getting a future prediction, it comes through the psychic clairs and not, excuse me, it doesn't come exclusively from reading energy. And so spirit will drop in images. You will hear me say, I saw. And also things like, it's like, because when they drop in the image, it's more metaphor than literal. Usually the images convey a message. And so that's why a skilled reader knows how to interpret the message. Because if I say, I saw this, and then people are absolutely certain that we're going to see that, and we don't see that, and then it's like, oh, it was actually the metaphor. It was conveying a meaning of that. So if you are someone who is just beginning your psychic development, or you're somewhere in the beginning stages, understand that there's a huge difference. There's a huge range of ways you can receive intuitive information, and that is great. That is fantastic. The more you work with one and develop it, the easier it gets to open up and develop and work with the others. Because wherever it's coming from, whether I'm reading energy, I'm receiving it psychically, it's a gut intuition, it's pattern recognition, being able to interpret what you're getting, that's the skill. That's the skill. Anyone, well, not anyone, many people can receive a premonition in the form of a psychic image or a dream or a gut feeling, but not always know how to interpret it. So that's why I frequently remind you guys that I'm a professional psychic with 9 years of experience. And what that means is I have 9 years of having strangers sit in front of me for client sessions. I don't know you. I don't know your life. I don't know what you want out of life. I don't know where you've been. I know nothing about you. It's a true cold reading. Often they don't tell me a lot about them. I will say, tell me the thing you want to look at, and then we go in cold. And so learning how to do that, number one, takes time and development to know you're not imagining. But having clients where I have nothing to go on, it's purely cold, and then getting the information that they then verify right in front of my face. Ooh, I'm feeling there's this guy in your life and he's like this and he gives me this feeling of this and you kind of have this reaction. I'm reading that energy between them. And then they're like, yeah, that's it. Totally. That's how I learn. Okay. That's how I learn to trust what I'm getting, to validate what I'm getting, and I learn what's the strongest for me. And that's why I say I have an impeccable track record. I've had hundreds of thousands, I don't know how many clients at this point. And each and every one of them are like, wow, you blew me away. I nail it every time. And yet, all of this is different than precognition and future casting. That is a very different beast. And I use my psychic intel to get that information. But it doesn't matter how good I am at reading present energy or talking to the dead or channeling. I'm great at all those things. Future casting, by nature of what it is different. The future is not set in stone, and there will be variations and there will be changes. And I don't think it's possible to ever get a 100% success rate, because that is the nature of the future. And that is why you see me do so many Gia just said that posts, because I'm putting myself out there and I'm claiming to be this great psychic. And so if I'm saying all this stuff that then never actually happens, I'm not actually psychic. I'm just playing pretend. So I'm doing this to build my credibility with you, the audience, to say, hey, look at all these things I got right, so that you know, okay, she really is tapped in. She really is working with something. That's a source we can trust. Doesn't mean I'm going to get every single future thing right. That is not possible. But using all the skills and tools that I have, I'm getting you a very robust picture of where we're at now, what the hidden forces are, what the motivating factors are, and where we're going to end up, both based on precognition and reading the energies already available.